The Panthers were 7-6 last year. They won the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, and they now open their 2024 season on August 31st, crosstown at Georgia Tech. They are represented today by head coach Dell McGee, players Justin Abraham, a senior linebacker from Hartsville, South Carolina, and Kevin Swint, senior linebacker from Carrollton, Georgia. We'll begin with opening comments from Coach McGee, and then we'll take questions for both Coach and the student athletes. Coach?
First off, I would like to thank two individuals that actually blessed me with this opportunity. That would be our president, Dr. Brian Blake, and also our athletic director, Charlie Cobb. They've done an outstanding job of expanding Georgia State University, expanding the facilities. The growth with educational opportunities and internships have been remarkable, and I'm very blessed to be here. Secondly, I'd like to thank the Sun Belt Conference. Commissioner Gill's leadership has been remarkable. He's taken this conference to a new level, and I know the future is bright with his leadership. And everyone on his staff have been very gracious and honorable and welcoming me at Sun Belt meetings in Destin and also here. Thirdly, appreciate our players for joining me today. The great city of New Orleans, the hospitality has been wonderful. Got a chance to take these young men out to enjoy some New Orleans food, and I know they really enjoyed that, and actually took them to Bourbon Street as well. Kevin Swint, who was part of Clemson's Sugar Bowl team during the COVID year, he actually been in New Orleans prior, but Justin Abraham, this is his first time here, and he was really excited about the party scene on Bourbon Street. And he said he will be back. It's been a crazy 5 months being hired, a lot of long days, sleepless nights. But the city of Atlanta, our coaches, our players are really enthused and energetic about the upcoming season. I'm really grateful to have the staff that I have, and really will be remiss if I didn't commend our players for working through the transition in such a late time in their careers where they didn't know me or our coaching staff, and they've been everything but great and welcoming us, being the pillars of our community, and upholding the standard that we're implementing at Georgia State. I also got to compliment and give my appreciation to Coach Kirby Smart and his wife, Mary Beth. Really learned a lot under his leadership. Taught me a lot of things about coaching, what to do and not to do. We will embrace a lot of the same principles that I learned there, along with my other mentor, Willie Fritz. And just very thankful for this opportunity. The two guys I have here now kind of represent what Georgia State is all about. One via the portal, which is the new world, and secondly, one that was committed to being at Georgia State for 4 to 5 years. That's the state of college athletics. We're not shying away from the portal or NIL. It's a part of it. We're embracing every opportunity and adversity that comes with all the new rules that have been added and changed. That's what we do as coaches. We have to adapt and try to do things in a better light. With that being said, I open it up for questions.
We'll open it up for questions from the floor. Once again, for those of you who have questions, please raise your hand. A microphone will be brought to you. And those of you joining us on Zoom, please type your questions into the chat and we'll read them here in the room. And we have a couple of Zoom questions already for, this is from Stan Autry. And Coach, this is for you, but also your two defensive guys that are here. Can you describe the two transfer quarterbacks that you brought in? What are their strengths?
First off, in spring football, we had two guys, Zach Gibson and Braylon Ragland, that got an opportunity to practice for 13 days. They were able to learn our system, the basics. So they kind of got an edge up on the two portal quarterbacks that we brought in, Christian Bayer and Kyle Lowe. All four guys are competing and learning at a high level. Just very anxious to see where this quarterback battle ends. I don't have a timetable on when a starter will be named. But the film in the sky will not lie. It will everything that we're looking for from a leadership, command, uh, the check system, putting us in the best position to be successful will pretty much win the job. And I'm not saying we won't have a quarterback by committee. I just don't know yet. We're still identifying and trying to evaluate our entire team with 48 new transfer portal and walk-on kids added to our program. We feel like we brought in competition at every position, and there's going to be battles to be made.
Coach Dominic Crusetto, College Football Dogs and Sunbelt Syndicate. In a weird way, obviously your hiring timing wasn't optimal for you to get the most out of everything you would probably like to accomplish in an off season. So in a weird way, does the portal really help you in this kind of a situation, specifically this time around?
The situation is the situation, and yes, the portal did help us. If it was a different time, could have been maximized a lot more, absolutely, but it is what it is. We can't go back and change time. We're just maximizing, and we felt like as a staff, we evaluated and identified the necessary pieces that we felt like we could acquire to create the best Georgia State team we could this year. Of course, there's obstacles with the portal, but I think our team is a lot different than it was in the spring, and I think we're better from an athletic leadership standpoint than we were.
Got a Zoom question for Coach McGee and also for the two guys. Just about everything you can think of. This is from Matt Cummings. Just about everything you can think of from last year has changed for the Panthers. How have you and the players embraced this change? And what has been the smoothest part of the transition?
I think being able to just being able to face adversity with the guys and them also knowing that adversity is inevitable in any part of life and them just embracing that part on it and just wanting to continue to grind and continue to become better football players and better men day in and day out. And that's something I commend the offense and the defense are doing, especially the late coaching change with the new system coming in. Those guys have been putting in countless hours and countless time on the field outside of practice time and just doing the extra work and just doing the extra grind to become better players. And God willing, we see that stuff pay off when the season starts.
Yeah, kind of what Abraham kind of insisted on. A lot of the guys been bought in. And it's just like, anything in life, you gotta learn how to adapt to things. I feel like everybody knows that we have one goal in mind, and that's to win the conference championship. And we can't do that by, focused on, the outside, the external things. So we can only control what, the people that's in the room with us and the people that's bought in.
Yeah, for me as a coach, I want to make sure that the roster that I acquired, they were in a good headspace. So I Zoomed and met with every single player along with their parents, just reassuring them that I was the right person for the job, allowing them to ask me questions, and then just making sure that they were at ease on my leadership command. And like I said, I got to commend these two young gentlemen that I brought with me because they made that transition a lot easier. They could have easily boycotted the first team meeting we had and been pissed off. But they didn't. I remember the morning I met with them before the press conference of me being hired, and they remember the challenge of everyone in the room that has won a Sun Belt championship stand up, and no one could stand up. So they understand, why things take place, and I must say that Sean Elliott did an outstanding job of recruiting great young men because these guys are really bought in. There hadn't been any trouble or character issues one bit, and I'm just very honored to be their head coach right now.
A Zoom question for both Justin and Kevin from Stan Autry. You were picked to finish last in the East Division. What does this team need to do to prove them wrong?
Just continuing to worry about ourselves, and it's Georgia State versus Georgia State. At the end of the day, you can't beat nobody else until you beat yourself. And when I say that, I mean you got to learn yourself and we got to find out what's the best place, how or the best way for us to become better, whether it's watching film, whether it's lifting the weights harder, whether it's going out for extra walkthroughs or more PLP time. So we got to find that way and to build in that era, in that circumstance, so we can just become on top, man. That's essentially the goal, just to win. So a lot of sacrifices going to have to be made and has been made and continue to going to be made so we can be the best in the Sun Belt, God willing.
Yeah, kind of what Abraham said. It's kind of just all about really staying focused on us. You really can't, buy into the outside noise because that's more distractions for, the trying to attack the goal that we have in mind and that stuff that we can't control at all. So, having those daily deposits and sacrifice over time, everything will take care of itself.
And I would just say that's good rat poison when you picked us last. That really allows us to put a chip on our shoulder. This actual bulletin board material right now for the start of camp. And it's up to us, like our players said, to lock in, make sure we focus on us, not looking into the future, just taking one day at a time, getting 1% better, making sure we win the moment, and then just making sure we're putting our players in the best position to be successful. And we got to find our identity in all areas, who can do what well. And we'll develop that. I got outstanding coaching staff, and then that's our job to make sure that our guys are first representing the university in the right way, but secondly, making sure they can do the basics. And we're not going to beat ourselves. We're going to play with great discipline. We'll play with great effort. We will stop the run. We will run the football. We're going to play with relentless effort in special teams. We'll be great on third downs. Got to stop the team on third downs. Got to be explosive and create explosive plays and limit the explosive plays on offense. And we got to score points in the red zone. And we prefer to score touchdowns over field goals.
Emmanuel Peppers, Sunbelt Conference. And Coach, this is for you. I know obviously it's been a whirlwind these past few months and you really had to hit the ground running, but is there any part of you that kind of allowed yourself to take in this opportunity and how much more special does it make it being from Georgia to have this first head coaching opportunity at the collegiate level in the state of Georgia and as part of such a great conference as well?
Yeah, I take every job as being special. Every job I've ever had, I consider it special. I feel like I've always been in head coaching training, like I mentioned prior, working with Gus Malzahn, Willie Fritz, and ultimately Coach Smart. I learned a multitude of things, and like I said, I've seen the bad, the good, and everything in between. And I'm just trying to take everything I got from those individuals and creating it into my own. So I don't really look at it as a negative, and I'm truly honored because I am from the state of Georgia. But more importantly, it's all about our kids. Everything that we're going to do moving forward is about our players. How can we make their lives easier? How can we help them matriculate through life? How can we provide internships, life after football, the 50-year plan? Is way more important than any wins and losses on the football field.
Got one right here for Kevin and Justin. Football game now is out, video game wise. Are you guys gamers? I know you played the same position. Is there any battle about who's rated better in the game or anything like that between the linebacking core?
I will let Swint answer that. I do more fishing than anything. I'm gonna let Swint answer that.
I mean, no, I don't really think it's too much of a comparison, but we do have a little a battle about who's the best college football gamer in the room. So I'll probably say that.
Got a Zoom question from Mac Brown of Sideline Sports Network. Along those same lines, you guys tied for the team lead in tackles for losses last season. Do you two guys have any kind of bet or a wager to see who's going to come up with more this year? If so, what does the winner or the loser get?
I mean, every time we go on the field, this is why I say to my boy, I just meet you in the backfield. You know what I'm saying? It's just going to be a party in the backfield every time we get a chance. So that's always the goal.
Yeah, if Abraham don't get you, I will.
And I would say we got to play to the scheme. So whatever the scheme says, that's what's going to happen.
That you.
Got another Zoom question from Brady Weller for Coach. How have you and your new staff approached quickly getting a scout report and prepping for all the teams in the league that you'll be facing week in and week out?
We've watched every team in the league as a staff, but just like everyone knows, the rosters, everyone's roster has changed. So we're going to do a really good job of, once the season starts, of prepping before the game. And our main concern right now is just us. How do we make us better? We have enough in our organization to be successful. It's just how do we matriculate those parts into making us the best version of Georgia State we can. So we're really not concerned about future opponents. It's just going to be strictly us, and then a week before we play Georgia Tech, we'll concentrate on them.
Got another Zoom question from Stan Autry again for Coach. What's been the challenge and what's been the process of assimilating 48 new faces, new players?
The biggest thing is just connection. We've been having growth meetings with our team where we're getting to know each other's whys, what makes each individual tick, not only the players, but also the coaches. And we'll take a deeper dive into each individual in fall camp, where we'll have a couple of hot seats where we'll have kids and coaches share what their why is. And I think when you peel back the onion and you're intentional in why you do what you do, and your teammates and coaches can understand your deeper thoughts and feelings, it allows us to coach and play that much harder for one another. And I can't say how many times I've been on a staff and I didn't really know my coach that I was working with. I knew his name, but I didn't really know him. I didn't know that his mom had cancer. I didn't know that he had prostate issues. I mean, just taking a deep dive and getting personal and intentional with one another, I think it's going to be a big component of us and our success. And connection is one of our DNA traits that we're going to live by at Georgia State.
Got a Zoom question from Mac Brown. This is for Coach again. You're going to be coaching your son for the first time, incoming freshman defensive back Austin, who committed to the Panthers before you were hired. What role did he play in you accepting the offer at Georgia State? And have there been any unexpected challenges so far having your son on the team?
Challenges? No challenges yet. He still calls me coach. He can't call me daddy. But I just feel like it's a better opportunity and more of an opportunity for me to spend time with him. Being a coach over the last 8 years, time was not permitted. My wife had to do most of the taking the practices, picking up from practices and things of that sort. But Coach Smart was very gracious in allowing me to attend my son's game. So that was very beneficial. And that's another nugget that I learned, that his prior boss kind of was very neglected upon. And I just think the family component is important. And my son will not be treated no different than any player on our team. And I think these guys can attest to that. And he probably has more pressure. I have to make sure he's okay, because it's not easy being your dad, the coach. Or I don't know if they're going to try to get secrets, but I don't talk to him about anything. So as far as the team is concerned, so it's really a unique situation, and I'm gonna take full benefit to watch him grow and mature as a young man. And it also speaks volumes in how much confidence I had in Georgia State and their educational system and his opportunities to grow as an individual prior to me even getting the job. I felt that convicted about Georgia State and the academic opportunities they provide student athletes, and we're just going to try to take that to another level.
Got one more question for Justin on Zoom. A couple of people on Zoom, Justin, they want to know the story on the hat. But first, you need to show everybody in the room those boots.
Oh, they bad, isn't it?
Yeah, hold that up where people can get a look at it.
Pecan brown, man. That's the color of pecan brown. But no, the hat, just old straw cowboy hat. I mean, from back home, I'm from Hartsville, South Carolina. It was just a small town, and I like to be outside, fish, hunt, whatever you think of. And shout out to my granddaddy. He the one who put me on that stuff. So it's all up to him.
And then a question for both of you guys. Coach mentioned if you can share, what are your whys?
Oh boy, we just finished that last week, didn't? My why personally is like I just mentioned, one of my granddad. I have multiple whys, and that's one thing as you grow as a player, you start to understand that it's more than one. So I give y'all a few. One thing is my granddad and being able to put 324 Lincoln on the map and being able to put their names on my back as well, and just continuously being the light to them, or being the light to my family, and being the light to the little ones, and being someone people can look up to. And also on top of that, just like I like to go out and experience things. Like life is an experience in itself. Football is an experience. Collegiate football is an experience that everyone doesn't get. And I'm just blessed enough to have that and just make people happy. And once you meet and greet people, Coach Dell got this rule: shake 3 people's hand each day you don't know, never talk to in your life. And stuff like that just lead on to different things and different avenues and gates are open up. So, and also I just like having fun.
Yeah, and my why is my family, and my family, playing for my family's name. And also, just playing for myself as well. I'm a self-driven person, very determined to achieve my own personal goals. So, I wake up every morning, and make that choice to, be the best version of myself and put my best foot forward.